Blizzard, what are you doing? Warning. Adult language to follow. Welcome everyone, I'm Bad Karma Drone, aka Dronus. Today we're going to do kind of chit-chat about the game, state of gameplay in today's society, and the things that are going on in the world. As I said before, there's going to be some adult language, so if that stuff offends you, now's the time to click on something else to watch, because it's about to get real. Here within the last few days, Blizzard Entertainment had a Hearthstone tournament in China, and as many of you know, I won't rehash all the details. The winner of the tournament at a post-tournament interview had mentioned something about Hong Kong's independence. I guess that player is from Hong Kong, and he supports Hong Kong's independence. Blizzard, in an act of what can only be described as madness, stripped him of all of his earnings. He had a $10,000 purse prize given to him for that contest he was in, that event. That was forfeited. The player was banished from all esports events, Blizzard esports events, for a period of time no less than 12 months, and basically was just shown the door. The two people that interviewed him when he made this comment were also terminated. Their employment as broadcasters / interviewers was terminated. And in China, that probably means they'll never get another job doing that kind of work again. They're probably off to something far worse. So, Blizzard, what are you doing? The very next day, in what could only be described as another clusterfuck, there was another tournament, a college tournament for Hearthstone, in which during the competition, one of the colleges, there was a 3 versus 3 players per team, and one of the teams held up a sign supporting Hong Kong's independence and boycotting Blizzard. Immediately, Blizzard took the camera off of that, went to a different shot so that it couldn't be seen, but it was too late. It had already been up there for a solid couple seconds, long enough for people to know it. And essentially, that team received no punishment at all. After that was all said and done, they were given their next match and was told to proceed. No warnings, no nothing, no forfeiture of prizes. Nobody was banned, nobody was fired, no contracts were terminated, no nothing. This set a double standard. One standard for Blizzard kissing China's ass, and another standard for the United States, which they would never dare do. So, it has been an absolute outrage and an uproar all over the internet community. YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, Mixer, everybody's losing their minds over this, how unfair this is. For those of you that may not be as old as I am, I'm in my mid-50s, but for those of you younger ones, a very, very, very brief history lesson. China claims Hong Kong and Taiwan, both of which are independent of China, mainland China, even though China claims them. Hong Kong was under the British Empire rule, under the Queen, Her Majesty the Queen of England, up until the mid to late 1990s. I believe it was like 1996 or 97 when the rule of, or the ownership of Hong Kong was transferred from the United Kingdom to China. Many of the people living in Hong Kong protested, and to this day do. Ever since, now back to modern time, ever since the about March or April of this year, of 2019, there has been riots going on in Hong Kong as it's basically the beginning of a civil war over there, to where they are formally trying to get their independence from China, to where they want to be their own. They want freedom of speech, the things that most of the free world enjoys. They don't want to be under an authoritarian dictatorship, to where you have a social credit system over there, to where if you say or do the wrong thing, you may not be able to get a job. You might not be able to board an airplane. You might not be able to buy a house because your social credit score is too low. Think about that for a minute. Yeah. Not good. So, while these people in Hong Kong are rioting in the streets and doing what they can to the only thing that they can to gain their independence, or to establish their independence, the Chinese government, which their favorite slogan is "One China," is denouncing this. They won't let, obviously they're not going to let Hong Kong go. Hong Kong is a major deep water port where a lot of exports go in and out of that part of the globe. It's a major money maker. China wouldn't let that go for anything under the sun. So now Blizzard has decided in 2019 that they are going to take the gameplay and enter politics. Now, what does Blizzard have to do with Chinese politics? It's simple. Money. If you ever want to know why a business does anything, follow the trail of the money. That's the only reason. And Blizzard proves this point time and time again. Yet again, here we go. Blizzard's announcement in 2018 at their BlizzCon. Anybody remember that? Do you not have cell phones? Well, they decided that they were done with everything to do with the PCs, writing PC software and stuff, and we're going to port all their IPs, intellectual properties, aka games, over to mobile, because the Chinese market is a multi-billion dollar a year marketplace. Multi-billion dollars a year. So, obviously, Blizzard decided to go after some of that money. But at the cost of shitting on how they got where they got and the people that got them there. Well, that didn't end well. There was months and months and months of that. And it was back and forth about who was going to be the bad guy in the gaming community. You had EA trying to pull their crap, and then you had Blizzard doing their stuff, and then you had just a lot of bad game releases. Fallout 76 and its nightmare that it was came shortly after BlizzCon. And when everybody thought that it couldn't get any worse, it did. And here we are. Blizzard has now joined the communist nation. Well, there's not a lot individuals as people, a single person can do about this. There really isn't. I mean, we really don't have much choice in this. I mean, as an individual, you can scream all you want, you can jump up and down, you can kick your feet. But at the end of the day, China's going to do what China wants to do. There's too much money at stake. And Blizzard is going to be right there. Blizzard is not going to do anything to offend the overlords, the Chinese overlords. They need that money. They want that money very badly. That way they can pay their their shareholders, keep them happy. So, where does that leave us? Where does that leave you and I as game players? What choices do we have? What say in this do we have? Okay? What can we do that would ever even come close to trying to make a difference? Well, the choice is very simple. You have a choice. You can support Blizzard financially, buy their games, go to their tournaments, go to BlizzCon, buy an e-ticket for BlizzCon or a regular ticket, show up there. Or you can say enough is enough. Human rights. We all should be entitled to human rights. And I'm going to stand my ground. Now, BlizzCon, this is October the 11th right now, October 11th, 2019. BlizzCon is in about 2.5, 3 weeks. It's the beginning of November. So we've got about 3 weeks to go till BlizzCon. How do you think this shit's going to end in BlizzCon? How can you imagine, okay, after the uproar 2018 with the red shirt guy and people asking if this was an out-of-season April Fool's joke and the absolute memes on the internet that hit afterwards. Can you imagine what's in store for the people running BlizzCon this year? Can you? Can you imagine what's going to happen? Can you imagine how many people are just frustrated to no end after last year? You know, if Blizzard came out with Diablo 4 right now and said, look, we finished it, it's done, here's Diablo 4, and guess what? We're giving it to everybody free of charge. Pick up a copy on the way out the door. And you folks at home, here's the link. Download it for free. We're not even going to charge you people for it. That still would not end the backlash. That's still not going to stop this. These people are going to lose their mind. Can you imagine what the question and answer period is going to be like there? Can you imagine somebody not shutting their mouth? I mean, because they're not, they try to screen out the stuff to where you're only commenting on, they get commenters or people up there asking questions for things related to gameplay or related specifically to whatever they're announcing new that year or whatever the hot ticket item is, that they want that to be talked about as much as possible. Can you imagine somebody getting up there and saying, every voice matters? See that in the middle of my bottom of my screen, every voice matters? That's a rendition taken from a plaque out front. Take this, out front of Blizzard, their main offices. They have a round circular statue stand, and they've got plaques embedded in the base of it that say different sayings. And every voice matters is written on one of those plaques. They put it there. Blizzard, put that plaque there. But yet, if you're from Hong Kong, your voice doesn't matter. If you're from China, Blizzard doesn't want to hear it. Keep your mouth shut. So that's going to stay there for a while. And every voice matters. It's going to stay on my stream for a while. I like it there. It kind of reminds me what kind of shitholes we've got going on. So, back to this. Can you imagine somebody going to BlizzCon, happy, skipping along like I am, stand in line at the Q&A when the screeners ask him what kind of question he's going to ask, and he'll say ask something technical about some game or whatever that's been announced for there at that particular BlizzCon, and then he gets up to the microphone and just says something about China, about the unfairity of all this, of Hong Kong boycotting Blizzard. Can you, and keep in mind that they stream this event live. Okay, so people pay like $50. I've done it in the past. I'm not going to do it this year. I didn't do it last year. To be honest, I didn't. I kind of lost a little bit of interest in BlizzCon before last year. I wished I had, though, because that would have been fun to watch that stuff in real time. But this year, I had thought about it and got ready to do it, and this crap happened. And I just cannot support. I can't give Blizzard my money. Not after what they did. That's like telling them, oh yeah, what you did, and stripping that guy of his winnings and his what he's entitled to, his earnings and his win, to take that from him because he spoke free speech. That's like saying that's okay. If I give you my money, then I'm empowering you to do that again and again and again. It's not going to happen. Also, I'll go on record right now. I will not stream anything Blizzard /Activision on this website, on this stream, or streams, plural, until the situation is rectified in a positive way. Till that player's earnings are returned, he's reinstated. I'm not going to do it. Does Blizzard care about it? No, Blizzard doesn't care about what I do. Blizzard doesn't even know I exist. What do they care? You know what they're going to miss, don't you? When those new games come out and I keep my credit card in my wallet. The only real power that you and I have in this world is to vote with our wallet. If a company doesn't do something, or if a company does something bad, neglectful, some past experiences that some people have gotten upset about have been like maybe Nike or maybe Gillette, things like that. The vote, how you vote is with your wallet. If you like what a company's doing, you buy their products to support them. If a company is acting in what you feel is a bad way or against humanity, then you vote with your wallet. You simply don't purchase their products. You keep your money in your pocket. Go on about your day. So there are a lot of games coming out, and you won't see anything Blizzard Activision streaming from here for a while, I'm imagining. Because they're, after all the pressure that's going on, after the college kids had nothing done to them, and they quit the tournament in protest, in solidarity. They quit. They just when their next round came up, they walked out. They said, "This isn't fair. You didn't treat us the same way you treated that gentleman over in Hong Kong. So guess what? We're done. We are done." And they walked out. You know what? They walked out of the tournament. They could have won. They could have been winners. We don't know. We'll never know. We'll never know. But they walked out. You know, it's good to see that there is some humanity left in this world, and that there are some good people still left. You know, people that know the difference between right and wrong, and are willing and are willing to sacrifice their own personal gain for something like this. I don't play Hearthstone. I'm not really into that kind of thing. But, you know, I thank those college kids for standing up, for doing what they did. They proved a point. They proved that there are two standards. You know, that at least, where Blizzard is concerned, at least two standards, or probably more than two. There's probably some middle ground somewhere for some nation somewhere that halfway pays as much. I don't know. But we know that there's two. If you're from China or Hong Kong or Taiwan, then you can't say anything. You can't do anything in a tournament event or anything. Say anything that is in any way going to support any kind of free speech or free thought or freedom of action. If you do, you're done. You are done. You are done. Okay? So, and then there's the standard for everywhere else, which case Blizzard just ignores you. So, it's disheartening. I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff on the internet. A lot of YouTubers and streamers are just going crazy. They're really losing their minds over this, and I can understand why. I mean, this isn't easy. This isn't an easy subject to talk about. And it's even worse if you're living it. Can you imagine being over in Hong Kong fighting every day for the right to believe what you want, or the right to think what you want, or have any kind of religion that you choose instead of what you're told? Could you imagine that? You know, I can't imagine that struggle. I don't know I could deal with it. You know, they're dealing with it right now. They're living it every single day. So I don't have much to do with politics. You'll never really hear me discuss politics because political and religious beliefs, my personal political and religious beliefs are just that, mine and personal. You'll never hear me talk about that stuff. It's not a lack of interest in that stuff. It's just it's not content for the channel. It's not important to the channel. It's important to me, but that's a different story completely. Oh, we're out of chainsaw. Oh man, we need biofuel. Dang it. Okay. Well, I wonder what happened. There it is. There we go. Okay, so my plans are this year. During the fall season is usually when I buy a bunch of computer games and stuff. And I had a lot of things planned for streaming this year. I was really looking. One of the games that I've played and some of my friends have played over the years was the original Warcraft series, Warcraft and Warcraft 2. And when I heard last year that during BlizzCon that they were going to redo that, make a reforged version where they make a complete redo of the original Warcraft games, I got very excited, and I told one of my friends that who's a fellow streamer, Agent Cyrus, that we should do some cooperative gameplay, and that kind of stuff with it. And he agreed. We both thought we would do that, and not going to now. I mean, Blizzard has just shot themselves in the foot. Can you imagine? I mean, when Blizzard in 2018, when at BlizzCon, when they pulled their "Do you not have phones" bullshit on the world, and basically told the computer players and the consoles people to fuck off. That basically, they were going after the mobile market, and that's the only thing that mattered to them moving forward. Their stock prices dropped, and it was reported. I think it was reported in the Wall Street Journal that they had lost over $6.5 billion with a B, $6.5 billion in stock revenue and company worth. Okay, that's how much that had cost them. I think by about 3 or 4 months after that, they had lost that much value in the company and stock, because people that run the hedge funds and investment firms and stuff were pulling out of Activision Blizzard left and right. I mean, they were dropping it like a hot potato. They knew. And Blizzard is going to have to address this during BlizzCon. The Hearthstone debacle here with the players in China and Hong Kong. They can't have a weekend-long event, several panels, and several Q&As during this weekend, and absolutely keep the words China and Hong Kong out of it. At some point, it's going to bubble to the surface. You're going to come to the surface, and and I imagine they're in deep talks right now, strategizing on how they're going to handle this and what they're going to say and do. And can you imagine? I can't imagine them saying anything that makes this better. I mean, stop and think about it for a minute. Let's say that you're a community manager for Activision or for Blizzard. Okay, you're there at BlizzCon, and you're trying to present a positive image of some game or some expansion or some features, or just generally trying to keep things in a positive, productive way, and you've just totally shit on the entire gaming community for 2 years in a row, back to back. Those people are going to earn their paychecks. There isn't anything that they could say. There's no oopsie, my bad. There's nothing that they could say that smooths this out and makes it go away in 3 weeks. Now, given time, 3 or 4 months, people would forget this. They would move on and and eventually, Bethesda or EA or somebody else is going to screw up. They're going to say, oh, well, Blizzard's had their limelight, so hold my beer while I fuck up something and get the attention on me for a little while. But right now, it's Blizzard's turn. And there's nothing that's going to keep this conversation from happening at BlizzCon. And I want so badly to buy an e-ticket to watch the whole of the events, the panels and the Q&As and all of this, and just so that I can see firsthand how they deal with this shitstorm that they made. They made this shitstorm. This wasn't some misunderstanding. This wasn't some little boo-boo. This wasn't some developer who stood up on the stage and insulted the audience by asking them if they had cell phones. And then Blizzard sit back and claim that, well, we didn't say it, he said it. It's nothing like this. Is Blizzard. This is them through and through. Okay? They own this. There's no way they can't own it. There's nothing they can say. And I really want to do that, but I'm not going to give them any money. And for the first time ever, I'm actually going to start trolling around the internet to see if somebody isn't streaming the actual game, the actual BlizzCon through like Twitch or Mixer or some. So I imagine somebody's going to stream it live, even though that's a violation of copyright and all kind. They get themselves in all kinds of trouble, have their accounts banned or whatever. But for the first time ever, I'm going to go look to see if I can find it, because I want more than anything to see what happens, how they handle this. You know, and how do you do this and survive as a software company? You know, if you're developing, if this is what you do for a living, is write software, then you need to stay the hell out of politics. You know, you absolutely need to stay out of politics. You know, China hasn't got anything to do with you. You might have something to do with China, but China doesn't have anything to do with you. You know, so I don't understand how this is gonna that this is anyway gonna end. You know, I can't. If I were Blizzard, I would cancel the BlizzCon this year. I'm serious. I would cancel it. I'd say something like, we've received some kind of security threats, or somebody said, you know, I would make up something. You know, that Blizzard has no problems lying. So, I mean, you know, I would lie my ass off and say something like, you know, there's some kind of security threats. We've received security threats, and so we're going to cancel BlizzCon this year because we care about everyone's safety. You know, we don't care about the protesters in Hong Kong who are being beaten up by the police and being murdered and their human rights. We don't care about that, but we care about the security at BlizzCon. You know, so yeah, I think that's the only way they get out of this without answering some difficult questions. And it would be interesting to see how this is going to end. It really is. You know, I'm so disgusted with Blizzard and Activision. I mean, and yes, I include Activision because Blizzard is part of Activision, and Activision had a year to get their house in order. They had a whole year to get Blizzard to shut the fuck up and do what was right after what happened last BlizzCon. To get a roll of duct tape and shut them up. But they didn't, because they have shareholders that they have to answer to. And the only thing that matters is that next quarterly earnings report. Okay, when they have to answer their shareholders about how much money they've made over the last, 3 months. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. They don't care about human rights. They don't care about your rights. They don't care about you. They don't care about the games that they release. They just chasing that dollar. Hard chasing that dollar, like a crack addict would. So, all I can ask you people to do is vote with your wallet. And remember, that not everybody has freedom of speech. Not everybody can say what they want. Not everybody can do what they want. Not everybody can practice religion. And if you think about that for a minute, put yourself in those shoes, how would you act? If you lived over there, if your rights were your personal safety, your health, everything about you, spiritually, physically, morally, mentally, was being controlled by somebody else, a dictatorship, an authoritative dictatorship, how would you be? You would struggle for your right to exist and to evolve into a free nation with the ability to think and speak openly, and the struggles that those people are having. So, as you go through your day and your life, and you think that your job sucks, or your personal life sucks, or somebody else has got a nicer car than you or a nicer home than you, just turn on the news and watch what's going on in Hong Kong. The people getting beaten in the streets by the cops. The cops just picking up somebody and beating the dog shit out of them. Just imagine that would be you. Things aren't quite as bad as they seem, or as they could be. And with that, we're going to go ahead and end this broadcast. I appreciate everybody watching this. If you would Smash that like button, subscribe, and follow. Your support really helps the channel grow. It really does make a difference. And remember, every voice matters. Every voice matters.